There
Hey
we
Paul,
go.
did you see my
Hello and welcome to the Clint Initiative podcast. What is the Clint Initiative? The Clint Initiative is a multi-phase project to create entertainment here in Minnesota and to distribute that entertainment to the world, starting with this podcast. This podcast is the seed from which everything else will grow. The Clint Initiative is about great music. The Clint Initiative is about great live entertainment. The Clint Initiative is about a sketch show. The Clint Initiative is all about filmed content. If you want to know how to do a podcast, listen to the Clint Initiative. If you want to know how to do an album, how to find musicians, how to get it recorded, listen to the Clint Initiative. If you want to know how to create more content over a short period of time, you're listening to the Clint Initiative and we will help you get there. If you are ready to create, if you're ready to talk about creating, if you're ready to be about it and get it done, we want to talk to you. This is the Clint Initiative. My name is Paul and my co-hosts are Katie, Clint, and Jamel. We are the Clint Initiative. If you are interested in creating content, if you're interested in creating movies, music, television, films, short films, and feature films, then we want to talk to you. We want to have you on the show. Email us at theclintpodcast@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. And now, back to the show.
All right, team. What are we doing? We're throwing it at the wall. We are throwing it at the wall. We're throwing it at the wall. We are throwing it at the wall. We're throwing it at the wall. We are throwing it at the wall to see what sticks, sticks. Come on, what are we doing? Tirada a
Tirando
la
la
pet,
pared,
estamos tirada a la
la
pet.
pared.
Tirada a la pet, estamos
estamos?
tirada a la pet. Tirada a la pet, estamos
Estamos.
tirada a la pet. A ver que se pega. Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Clint Initiative Podcast. It looks like we have just about everyone here. Hopefully, Clint will show up pretty soon, but this is the part of the show where I check in with our co-host, just to get an idea on how everything is going. And who wants to be first up on deck? We always say ladies first. Did you want to go first, Jamel, or you want it to be Katie?
Ladies first.
Okay, so Katie, we missed you last week. It's good to have you back. So,
Yeah.
how are things going with you?
Good. I'm blessed to be here. I'm excited that I'm back. I feel good. Healing process is coming along.
Well, it's good to hear that, and it's good to have you because this is going to be a great show. It's going to be a big show, and we've got a lot that's going on. And as everyone can see, the gang's all here. I'm going to go ahead and put you up on deck and give Clint a chance to consume more tea.
I don't
So
know.
I'm going
Yeah,
to
because
go ahead and put you up. So
Clint's
what's
not
going
awake.
on with you, my friend? What's going on, Jamel?
Oh, everything's good. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. We always wake up and want to make the best of it. So yeah, it's a great day. I'm just glad to be here. Wake up, Clint.
So did you have a good 3-hour workout today?
Of course, my workouts are always good.
Okay. And now I'm going to go to our friend, Clint. So, Clint, how are you doing today, my friend? You look tired. Look like you've been sleeping.
Just get up. Have a breakfast.
Oh,
So we're doing tea or coffee today. We need to know.
Okay, but even though I just get up, I didn't have enough sleep and everything, but I still want to say God is good. I'm bringing you high hopes, love, and peace. And I'm keeping the spirit free. I'm bringing you high energy with my cup of tea.
Okay. Awesome. I was waiting to hear those words. It's like hearing Dynamite when watching Good Times. I have to hear that, my cup of tea.
Yes.
Okay, and I have a lot of big things I'm going to announce in the show. I'm probably going to give it a minute. When we get to a certain part of the show, I'm going to make the announcement to sort of everyone already knows about. But I've been if people have been watching the channel, they see that I've put up segments from the show in bite-sized clips so that people can easily consume it. And I'm going to do the same thing with this episode once it's done. I'm going to put up the whole episode and I'm going to put up clips so it will make it easy for people to consume the show. So that's what's going on with me. I'm constantly consumed with ways to improve the show and ways to just get to our ultimate goal, which is making films. And we have a big announcement later in the show that's all about our primary goal, which is to make great content. And now, as everyone can see, it's time for my random questions. And we have two random questions to choose from today. And the first one is, and you guys get to choose which one you want to respond to. Do you seek revenge or do you look to your better angels when someone does you wrong? And the other one we get to choose from is I was watching this show and they referred to this model as curvy. They use so many words to describe the fact that she was bigger than the other models. What are some of the things you've heard people say when they refer to bigger people, and what's your reaction to it? So those are my two questions. Two questions. We can either talk about revenge. Do you look to your better angels, or do you just, you know, seek revenge? And the other, we can talk about curvy elegance, is how I put it. Which one do you guys want to talk about? What do you think?
I wish I could talk about the both. Both of interesting topics. So we'll move to whoever want to answer.
Which one do you think we should talk about, Katie?
Um, I think I would have more experience with the modeling one. Maybe it's a good question because that's what I do. But
So what do you
they're very.
think, Jamel?
Like Clint said, they're both good topics. So I don't know. We can flip a coin.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard one. Yeah.
Yeah, they are very strong topics and interesting topics that
Yeah.
anyone would love to talk about when it comes
There's so
to
much.
overweight
Okay, so
modeling and revenge.
I'll tell you what.
Interesting.
We'll make
I
it a
can't
surprise.
choose.
I'll put each of you guys up on deck, and you can talk about the one that you want to talk about. But before we do that, I'm going to throw one thing out there. The reason why I thought about revenge and our better angels is because I think it's time in our country for us to have a real talk about what manhood is and about what being a man is. And I'm not talking about gender or any of that crazy stuff. It makes no sense that in the woods alone, a woman would fear a man more than a bear. That's a conversation that's going around the internet. And the more I thought about it, the more it made me think that would I look to my better angels or would I seek revenge if I saw some of the things that I've seen depicted online of the way men treat women? So I'm thinking that we need to have a real conversation about manhood, what it means to be a man, and how people should be treated. Not just men treating women or women treating men. We need to talk about how people need to be treated. And we need to do better. We've had proof of that over this week. And I just think we need to do better. So I'm going to go ahead and put you up on deck, Katie, and you can choose the one you want to talk about, but you're on deck. Go for it.
Okay. Honestly, with how you explained it, I think actually that would probably be a more better topic to talk about because I have seen a few things on the internet, and it's not. First of all, I will start off by saying treating people in general. The first thing that I think that they teach us, even as a young kid, is to treat people how you want to be treated. So, as far as being a man and manhood, obviously I'm not a man, but I have also seen that there's also a lot of females that are trying to get that masculine quality, and a lot of times that even causes like issues with men in general, like in relationships and everything. And I think as a man, you if they are doing their part, they're doing what they're supposed to do, then as a female you should feel that you can have that feminine qualities and let that man do what he is supposed to be doing. The fact that we are in this generation of even being scared to have a man in the house, or like you say, even to be outside, it's so crazy. And for the Hispanic side of viewing, as a Latino woman there, that is something that is so important in that culture. Like, if you have a man, he is the man of the house. You are la femenina, la mujer de casa, the woman of the house. This man is my protector, my provider. There should not be fear whatsoever in anything. You guys should be able to feel safe. And the fact that that is something that is just so crazy, I don't know. That blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I am right there with you, Katie. I tell you, we have a lot of things in our society where we look at certain things in a certain way, and we never really focus on the important things. We focus on the way we see it instead of what's important. Jamel, I'm going to throw you up there on deck. Which one would you like to speak to?
Uh, I guess we might as well just keep going with the same topic that we're going with. Um, just from my upbringing and what I see now, it depends on how that kid that's becoming a man, what values he's been taught as he's been growing up, and what values that he chose to instill in himself. Because depending on culture, depending on the environment, and depending on everything that's trending right now, you look at a lot of guys out here, and I want to say pre-adults included, they're looking for somebody to take care of them now. It's like the role has kind of flipped,
Hmm.
where women are the ones that we're supposed to be taking care of, but now men are looking for that mother figure to take care of them and let them sit back and just relax. So it to me, it just there's so much going on, and depending on who's mentoring who, you just there's going to be so much conflict and so much controversy. I feel that's going to be in the world with that, because as we can see, who's really leading right now, who's really ready to step up and do what needs to be done. And it seems like the younger generation right now is not ready for that. I want to say a majority of them aren't ready for that. So
And that's the thing you just said there, Jamel. That strikes me at home. It strikes me where I live. Because even if it was all a lie, even if it was all just something that wasn't true, as I was growing up, we had things that we could look to. We only had a certain number of channels on the TV. There was no internet. There was no Twitter. There was no social media. And when we looked at leaders, when we looked at our politicians, when we looked at our entertainers, everyone was on the same script. Even if it was a lie, everyone was on the same script so that when, as we were growing up, there was a certain way we saw life. And there's a certain way we thought about our place in that life. I think a lot of people don't know where their place is in this life because there's nothing they can look to that stands the test of time. Nothing. It's like everything is being broken down. And I'm hoping that in our small way, we can change that. So, Clint, sorry to take some of your thunder, but I'm going to throw you up on stage. What are your thoughts today on our
On
random
manhood,
question?
well, I'm just going to dwell on manhood. When the terms and the terms when people say manhood, I see it more as a noun, a name. Um, it's the opposite of being a boy. And when you're a boy, you do certain things a certain way because it's all about growing up. It's a growing up process. You learn things along the way, and it's all of becoming a man, which we use the term our manhood, where we're not supposed to be going back and doing things like the same mistakes what we did as a child, because it's all supposed to be like a learning experience. Um, so when you become a man now, you got a lot of responsibilities. You see things a different way. Your back's supposed to be stronger. You're supposed to be able to turn and take the bullets, and turn the other cheek without striking at someone, without taking revenge on certain things, because you know what's going to be the process of it. So when it comes to being a man, it's all about being the stronger person, the person who provides, the person who forgives. Even though it's going to have some people who do certain things to us and so on, and we still going to try to find a way how we could to get back at that person. And to me, the best thing is to just turn another cheek and see see yourself as that person. Will you like to be treated that way? And just let your angel or your whosoever you pray to, your God, to guide you to make the right decision without choosing the bad route and taking revenge on something because of someone hurt you. You want them to feel that same way too. Because just remember, karma is always a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
just real
Yeah.
quick, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. You also got to realize too is that depending on depending on the environment that you grew up in, and depending on the culture, you got to look at this too, mental health, because there's so much pressure that even if they want to do what they want to do, it depends on how much okay, the term I'll use is it takes a village to raise a child. So if that
Mm-hmm.
is not surrounded by people that are uplifting them and guiding them and showing them that they can do it, to give them a stronger will, mental health is going to break them down easily because they don't know how they're going to survive in the world. That's why a lot of people are looking for others to take care of them and help, and they just sit back because nowadays it seems like the trend is fast money is the way to go. If you can make it fast, you're good.
Then I
Not
could always add back to what you're saying.
not building up on something. When you can build
Then I
up a foundation and build up on it, that lasts much longer, and you ain't have to worry about it coming fast because it's just going to come consistently for the rest of your life.
And that's what we're aiming for, is to be able to build doing the things we love, and creating the art we want to create, so that hopefully we give people something that they can look up to. And the best part is our success, they can be a part of it. They can be a part of our success. And we'll talk about that later on the show. But before we move on, did anyone have anything else to add?
Um,
Okay.
I can
Go
try
ahead,
to like
Katie.
try to put some Spanglish in there, but I think based off of what Jay was saying before, that that big switch of roles has a big part of it, especially with the females now. I think it's just they try to carry that role now. It's like, oh, I'm the queen and I'm independent. I don't need nobody. So I'm really the man of the house. And I don't. I think there's a boundary. I think it's good to love yourself and see yourself as a queen and be that independent woman. But also we need to learn that if you are planning, because God created woman and man. If you are planning to be with a partner, you need to learn as a woman to step down and not give that man the respect to be the man of the house, to be the protector and the provider, as Clint was saying. So it's just, I think that that role that Jay was saying, that femininity, like the women of being the more independent and the queen, I think that is taking over so much, and that is what is dying down, that kind of manhood thing de estar hombre de casa. Hay que respetar tu marido, tu hombre, tu esposo, lo que sea, pero hay que respetar y ser cuando dejar su hombre a ser hombre de casa, y que él te protege y te da todo lo que necesitas y te quedas al lado. To respect, just respect the boundaries in general.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm going to say one thing. In all of the different relationships that I've been in, I try to respect that other person the way I want to be respected. And I try to make sure that we have each other's back and we take care of each other. And it's a hard thing to find, but when you find it, you know you have the right thing. And that's the last thing I'll say. When you know it's right, it's right.
Yeah.
And when it's wrong, you know that too. And sometimes when it's wrong, you just need to cut bait. You need
Yeah.
to cut that bait and and do what's best for you. And if there's anyone out there who feels they're in that situation where they need to cut bait, just know that there are people out there to help. And when it's time to cut bait, it's time to cut bait.
Yes.
And now, if no one has anything else to add, we're going to go on with the show. Cycle 4 Films has a huge announcement that concerns the Clint Initiative podcast. But before I make that announcement, I want to show you guys a little bit of a blast from my past.
Mm.
I actually went and auditioned for X Factor. It wasn't anything that I planned, but the opportunity presented itself. So I traveled from Pennsylvania to where they were having the auditions. And I found that picture the other day, and it just was more inspiration for me
I want to see that.
to continue our journey. It was a lot of fun going out there and meeting the different people that I met. And they had this stage out there where you could go and you do a pose, and they would take this matrix-like picture all around. It was awesome. The people
How
I
long
met,
was that?
just the opportunity to audition and show what I had to people who have an opportunity to hopefully take me to the next level, give me that chance to be on stage and on TV and show people what I got. Well, it
Mm.
didn't work out that way.
Oh,
How
But
long ago was that?
Back when X Factor first came to the United States, in the very first season of X Factor, I kept seeing the ads and I kept
You
seeing
brave
things
man.
talking about it.
I commend. Wow.
Yeah.
You look so young.
Well, that's because I was younger. I still wasn't very young when I did that, but I was younger. But that leads me to the announcement. I'm going to take my own advice. It's time for us to get started making films. When we started this whole process, we talked about how we would raise funds to make our films. And one of the ways we talked about, I took that PBS paradigm from our origin story. And I said, well, if PBS gets people to donate and look at what they've created, what can we create if people donate? Well, in addition to PBS, there are other ways that we can raise money. I found this festival, and I actually even have a graphic for it. I found this festival where when you show your films, you actually get to share in the box office. So by us making films and by us showing those films, people will be able to make money doing the thing we love, which is making films. Sensational shorts. And that prompted me to make this step. The same way I was prompted to go and try out for X Factor, seeing the way they do business here with Sensational Shorts. It's a movie theater in Woodbury where people submit short films. They show the films, and all of the people who submitted films share in the profit from their films. So, in addition to us still continuing to ask people to help support the business, right now, that's another avenue. So, I'm ready to go out there and start shooting. And I hope you guys are ready to go out there and start shooting because we're about to begin. There's so many of our ideas and things that we've talked about that I believe that we can actually do right now. So I'm
Vámonos.
making it up and I'm doing it. So Katie, what do you think about the announcement from Cycle Forward Films?
Mm, I'm ready. Let's go. Like people got a big awakening coming. We about to make a mark.
Absolutely. I wouldn't have said it any better than that. There's a big awakening coming for everyone. And what do you think, Jay? What are your thoughts on the big announcement from Cycle Forward Films?
Vámonos. Ahora. Let's go.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And Clint, I saved the
Yeah.
best for last. So, what are
Mm.
your thoughts about our announcement?
Well, I just can't wait for us to do our thing out there, and I'm excited about it. And like what Michael Jackson said in an interview, it hurts me when I keep the music inside and I'm not able to let it out for the world to hear. So my talent hurts when I keep it inside. So I'm ready to explode for you guys. We're ready to explode like dynamite.
Yes.
So, John Long is one of the stories that we're going to be shooting soon, Clint. So, you want to start thinking about that and how we can bring John Long to life because guess what? It's time for John Long. Along with Sentient, along with Maria Trout, along with um, a brand new concept. One of the films that they're the type of films that they're looking for in that festival is they're looking for holiday themed films. So I have a holiday script that I've been thinking about and talking about for a while that I actually am bringing to life. And you guys will hear more about it in our offline conversations. But I am excited and I am ready. And I think you guys are ready. and we're going to do the full court press to get more people, to get more people to come on the show, which that's their audition. Anyone who wants to be a part of our films, anyone who wants to be in what we're doing, they come on this show. We
Email it.
talk to them. Once we talk to them, they join our roster of talent. So as we're out there and shooting, they're the first person we will go to. Last year, Jamel, you'll remember, we saw this photographer, Candid Ideas. And I said to him that, well, if you want to make your film, just do it. Go out there, shoot the certain pieces that you want, because he had mentioned an idea he had. And I told him, hey, just go out and shoot it, man. Don't wait. Shoot it. As you see certain things that fit into what you're trying to do, just shoot it. Well, now I'm taking my own advice. We're just going to shoot it. And then we're going to show it. And then in addition to people supporting us with donations, we'll be supported by our films being shown at festivals.
I have something to point out to you, Paul.
Yes?
You there? Did you remember this? Poolside talk.
Poolside conversations.
Conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Summer is coming.
That was one thing I was thinking about as summer's coming, so it's getting warmer, so it's time for poolside conversations to come back into the conversation, and we will be doing that, as well as when we're making our films. That gives us more opportunities to film things for the sketch show. So I hope people are listening and they will stay tuned, because we have big things coming. And now, never before has it been more important for us to talk about the origin story for this whole exercise and how it came to be. I listened to a lot of public radio when I first came into town, and I heard the director of the Mill City Singers, J.D. Steele. He was on PBS talking about how to be a member of their professional choir, you don't have to audition. You just have to show up. So the more I thought about it, the more the Clint Initiative podcast came to life, or the Clint Initiative itself came to life. I think that actors and people who create content should have that same opportunity, where all you have to do is show up and you can be part of the production. And that's what we're doing now, is we're offering people an opportunity to just show up and be a part of what we do and express your talent and also profit from that talent. Do you guys have anything to add about the origin story or any questions?
Nada.
Well, not. Now we move to the fun part of the show. The fun part of the show for me is the Bible bracket. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show a short clip of our previous winners on the Bible bracket. Okay, so those were our previous winners, and for the people just listening to us who wasn't able to actually see it, I recommend you take a look at it, because it's just a listing of all of our previous winners before the films that we're going to be discussing this week. This week we have two films that we're going to discuss. One is I Hate Camping, and the other is Heavyset. How many of you guys have ever heard of the term log line? Have any of you guys ever heard of the term a log line?
No.
Well, I'll give you a little background on it. When a person wants to pitch a film, they have a log line where it basically lays out what's going to happen in the film in one or two sentences, one short paragraph to explain what the film is all about. And I'm going to try my best in the future to give you guys log lines when I do my pitch for the Bible bracket. And just like I said before, I'm going to present the ideas. We're going to discuss them, and then you guys get to choose who continues on in our bracket. So, I hate camping. Campground murders don't just happen. Oscar knew he was in the wrong place from the beginning. And then as things started happening, he just knew he had to get away. And he didn't mean going camping, but he certainly had to get away from where he was. And then there's Heavyset. The whole premise of Heavyset is that some heroes are supersized sometimes. Sometimes it's not just, Superman or those fit guys. Sometimes heroes can be heavyset, and sometimes heroes need a little boost. And our main character in Heavyset, let me put it this way: Popeye has spinach. Our hero in Heavyset has beer. So it's sort of a pseudo comedy kind of thing, but so what do you think of those ideas, Katie?
I'm thinking I do, and I like both of them. I think for me, I would save the superhero heavy set, and I would be more for the I hate camping just because I like horror and thriller, that run and chase type thing. That I love that stuff. So that was the eso se pega para mí. That's what for me.
Okay, so Jamel, what are your thoughts on those two ideas, man?
I grew up on horror. As I was born on the 13th, so that fits me. So
Yeah.
Okay, so far we have two people really leaning toward I hate camping. I also like the title, I hate camping. That's why I came up with it. I think most people, they hear that term, I hate camping, and just like our rating system, it sticks. So that is our rating system. So for you, Clint, which which one sticks, which one needs work, and which one can we forget about?
Heavy sex sound good. I like
Oh, you like
sex.
heavy set?
Yeah, heavy sex. Oh, heavy set. Sorry. Heavy set sounds good.
Okay.
I like the idea of
What's so funny?
nothing. Let me move it right along. Heavy. I can't
Wait,
say it. My tongue is so heavy to smoke.
we all do, Clint. Just
Heavy set.
I like heavy set.
Okay, I'm gonna go with camp. I hate camping. It's good too because
I hate camping is good. Not I like heavy
yeah,
set.
it's like a horror comedy. I like the boat. I'll just keep my mouth shut for now. Jamel, you have something to say. Go ahead.
You have something to say, Jamel? Is that true? Did you say?
I'm just yeah. It got us laughing, so it was good.
So it looks like I hate
We need more.
camping.
We need more of that on the show, where we can just do silly things or say silly stuff just to get us laughing to keep the energy going.
Yeah,
I haven't wake up yet. My tongue is heavy and my brain is slow right now.
It's so hot in here. Is anybody?
I love heavy set. The idea of heavy set, sort of like an episode of Popeye. Instead of
Sorry.
pounding spinach, he pounds a beer, and next thing you know, heavy sets on the case.
Yeah, he definitely pounds the beer.
Say again.
He definitely pounds the beer.
he wakes up the beer. He goes to sleep the beer. And when he needs to, he has a beer to take care of business. Heavy set.
Oh no.
Okay.
That laugh.
My mind is just all over
Contagious.
the place. Sorry.
Breathe, take some breaths.
You know what? I hate camping definitely advances on the meter, but I know it's definitely going to come at some point. Heavy said it's going to definitely be hitting the scene because obviously it sticks with Clint for sure. Even if it's for the wrong reasons, it works.
It lays down heavy.
That laugh. Oh Lord.
I was not expecting this response, but wow.
It's great.
Wow.
It's good. It's so good.
That's all I'm gonna say is wow. Okay. I hope we're ready to carry on with the show. Sorry for that, guys. I got to tell you, my allergies have been killing me lately, so I'm glad I only have one cough today. But now, to keep the laughter going, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a little moment from the sketch show. I'm going to talk about a couple of ideas from the sketch show, just like with the Bible bracket. I'm going to talk about a couple of ideas from the sketch show. And I think the strength of the sketch show is that it's not just going to be comedy. It's going to be sketches. And two of the sketches that I have in the Bible for the sketch show, one is called Cradle to Grave. And it's a long-term episodic shorts as part of the sketch show where we just show these shorts from a person's life in review, literally from cradle to grave. Each episode of the sketch show will show a cradle to grave moment of a person, and it's different people over different stages in their life. And in addition to that, there's a sketch in the show called Fierce, and it's about a runaway. A kid runs away from the home at 15 and stumbles upon a runway show. Well, we know, or she becomes friends with someone who does runway modeling. And while she's there with her friend, she sort of gets involved in the modeling world. So, with just like with Cradle to Grave, episode, certain segments from Fierce will also be introduced on the show. And Cradle to Grave and Fierce have the potential to be films, have potential to be streaming content. But they're going to start out first on the sketch show. So after listening to those two ideas, who wants to give their thoughts first? Or does anyone want to give their thoughts? Okay, Jamel raised his hand. Wow. That's the training. Raising your hand.
He rose. Cradle to the Grave, we might have to change the name on that because I think that name is already copyrighted for something else. So
Oh, that's
what
a movie with DMX.
you got it. You got it. So we'll have to change the
I
name.
thought it was that you were talking about. Sorry.
We'll have to change the name on that. But both of those sounds pretty good. You know, Katie and I can relate to Runway, but also it's good to show that a lot of behind the scenes with the Runaway that gets introduced by a friend into runway fashion shows, because a lot of people think it's always glam, glitz, and glory. No, it's not. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that go on to prepare to get individuals ready for these shows and also get casted for the shows as well. Depending on the show, it can be a challenge, and depending on how many people are out there auditioning for it. Like, I'll give an example. Minnesota Swim Week, there are over 600 people that audition for Minnesota Swim Week. Over 600. And you know how many that normally gets picked for these shows?
50.
Maybe about 50, 60, 75 if it's depending on how many designers, out of 600, just to give an example.
Wow. So, Katie, I'm going to put you up on deck next. What did you think of those two ideas?
I kind of agree with Jay. I think I would be able to relate more with the runaway situation. Like, I think that there is a lot that people don't know, and like Jay said, it's not only just complications with being in a runway, it's also personal stuff, like that people don't realize how extreme sometimes you have to even do self-care to be ready for a certain show, or just be ready for anything in general that has to do with modeling. It's just it does require a lot of work. It's not just show up and be pretty and hope to be picked. There's a lot that follows up to it.
Oh yeah. And I've watched people break down, crying,
Oh.
shaking right before they're getting ready to walk.
Ooh.
And you're trying to get them together, and so their makeup isn't smearing, everything, so that they can get out there and do what they need to do.
That fear of falling too when you walk, it's like, oh God,
Oh
don't
yeah.
trip.
Yep.
So, Clint, I'm going to put you up on deck, man. What did you think of those two ideas?
I'll go with Runway, because when I heard Cradle to the Grave, DMX, the movie with DMX was popping up with me, so that kind of dropped down a bit, which puts Runway on top of it. And I'm gonna go with Jamel and Katie. Yes, Runway. I like the idea. The story is good. It's going to show you the challenge of being a model, the ups and downs, self-esteem, and also mental health that most model goes in. Sometimes they think they're never good enough. Oh, they're not pretty enough. They're not slim enough. They're not skinny enough. Sometimes some of them even end up taking drugs. There's a lot of catfight, people gossiping, saying things about you. Well, you got to keep your head up together to make sure you do a good show on the runway. So I'm going to go with the runway.
Okay. So, just so you know, unlike the bracket, with the sketch show, we're throwing it at the wall to see what sticks. So, with the working title, A Cradle to Grave, it's just a working title. We'll probably name it somewhere else, something else when it goes on the show.
The Grave and the Cradle.
There you go.
I actually have something else in mind. I'll probably use that. But Fierce, you know, Runaway, you know, I don't know, maybe Jamel, you or Katie can speak to this, but how would other models who auditioned and got a spot of 50 out of 600, boy, if we could get 600 people to audition, you know, to come and be a part of what we're doing, wow. But what would their response be if someone who was not a part of any of that just shows up and is put out there on the runway? What do you think their responses would be?
I've done that to a couple friends where
Really?
I invited them out to a fashion show, and all of a sudden, we had someone did not show up, and I just turned to my buddy and was like, "Hey, you're walking in the show," and they're like, "Wait, what? Uh, what?" 5 minutes later, I turn back and look. He's drenching sweat, just like I don't know what to do. How did I get? I was like, "You'll be good. You're all right. I'll walk you through it." But yeah, it's yeah. You just
So
never
what do
know.
you think, Katie? How do
Um, I mean it has happened to me in Minnesota. I have done like modeling at a younger age in South America, but for here I had to start from scratch, and I I wasn't really sure. And it had been a big year gap because I was in the military. So from military to modeling is a big difference. Like you have to be, stern and what is the right word for it? Serious all the time. So when I started modeling here, it was the same kind of situation. I just happened to know this barber that used to cut my son's hair, but I didn't know that he was running his own show. So he had just seen me and invited me out, and it was the same. It was a little nerve-wracking. I didn't have as much confidence as I do now, but I think for somebody who is jumping into it, I think confidence and positivity is the biggest key. If you don't have that and you don't believe in yourself, then it is very hard to keep going.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that for the sketch show with Fierce that we'll be able to explore. And hopefully, once people get a look at what we do, which we're going to start doing very quickly, they'll get to see what we have to show them about, who knows, even sometimes about themselves. So if no one has anything further on that, it's time for us to talk about our music. And that part of our show is about to get a lot bigger once we get Vixen Noir involved. Right now, she's in Yucatan, Mexico, working on her latest album. So she's not available to come on the show, but every Thursday, I send her the link to the show and I let her know that when there's time in her schedule that she can come on, that she has carte blanche to show up, come on the show, talk about her music, which people can hear more of at www.vixennoir.com. That's Vixen, Noir.com. They can hear some of her music before she comes on the show. So, and after I sent her that message, she gave me a thumbs up. So that means she's still on board. And when she can, she would definitely be on the show. And we also have another artist who I've talked to, Panda Ross. And I'm hoping that Panda Ross will be coming on the show. Clint sort of referred her to me. I've been in contact with her and talking to her. And the last thing she said after I saw her doing an interview on another show, she said, "You're up next." So I'm hoping that next is next week, but we shall see. But we are on the list, I would assume. What do you think of that, Clint?
That's gonna be dynamite.
Well, if we can't say cradle to grave, how can you run around saying dynamite, man? Come on.
Okay. It will be explosive.
There you go.
No, that came from the rap game. So no, let's just stick to what you always say, Clint. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. That's
Wow.
Okay,
Clint
so
right
that's
there.
our music update. Eventually, our music update will be a lot more substantial than it is. But what I'm going to talk about now is I'm going to continue the conversation that oh man, I misspelled inner circle. Let me get that slide off the screen. Okay. This is a perfect time for me to notice I misspelled inner circle. But now is the time for us to talk about our founders and our inner circle. Never has it been more important for someone to be a part of our equity crowdfunding initiative because as we do film festivals where we share in the profit, our equity crowdfunders, our inner circle, our founders in our inner circle, they will also benefit from that. So it's going to be amazing now that we're putting everything up to the next gear. It's going to be amazing, and we're all going to profit from it. We're all going to grow, and we're going to be able to create more art, our art, for people to see. Does anybody want to say anything to our future founders in Inner Circle, or is it time to move on?
We want your money.
Anybody
Please.
other than Clint?
It's worth it. It's worth it.
And we
It's
appreciate
certainly worth it.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Okay, so now this is the time in the show. I think it's been a fantastic show, but this is where we each get to give our final words to the audience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to start with Clint. So, Clint, what are your final words to the audience? What would you like to say?
Well, what I would like to say is thank you all for having us at your home. Thank you for welcoming us, and we love you all very much. Keep supporting us, and just remember, always remember that your present situation is the final destination. The best is yet to come.
Okay.
Get me out of this. Go to someone else. I'm still here.
Okay. So, Jamel, I'm going to go to you next. So, what are your final words to our audience?
Thank you all for watching and listening to us. Just know that we are ready. Like Clint said, it hurts to keep our talent. We really want to express it by showing what we can do. Also, if you want to be on our show, you can email us at theclintpodcast@gmail.com. Remember, like, comment, and share to help us keep growing. And for my final word, by being yourself, you put something wonderful in the world that was not there before.
Hallelujah.
And you know what? Before I go to Katie, you know what, Jamel? For the first time since we've been doing these broadcasts, I didn't put the please like, comment, and share underneath the screen. Oh,
I got you.
I feel really bad. But I wanted to, before I went to Katie, I wanted to post up our email address, clintpodcast@gmail.com. He had it right on the money. And now, Katie, what are your final words to our audience?
I just want to say how excited I am for the future coming, and I think just take time and have open mind and learn that whoever decides to invest in us is something that is gonna make a big impact, especially in the state of Minnesota. Everywhere, all over the place, is something to just look forward to, and how much we are thankful and grateful for everybody who has been watching and giving feedback. Thank you so much. And para los latinos, gracias por estar con nosotros, gracias por vernos hoy. Y quería decir gracias a mi mamita por cuidarme tanto. I just did a shout out to my mother for healing and giving me this strength to be here today and back with you guys. I'm so happy.
Awesome. And it's good to have you back, Katie. I tell you, it's like, I think that as a team, we have a balance. And I think that balance is going to show. as we start to actually go into production. And my final word to the audience, I want to talk about what's going to be coming up the next time we're on the air, and then I'll finish with my final words. But I'm going to do a little bit more talk about film festivals the next time. We're going to start our production journey, so we'll be able to share some of that with the audience. And we'll be able to talk about what's coming next. Like, for example, who is Maria Trout? Who is Maria Trout? I think that we're soon going to find out, because that's another of our films that we're going to put into production fairly quickly, depending on festivals where we can do that. I've actually joined an app that has a listing of all the film festivals all across the country. But my final words is that we're going to be exclusive for right now with Sensational Shorts. As we can, that's where we will premiere our things first. And then we'll go on from there. So those are my final words. And as our episodes go, this has been the longest of all our episodes. And I want to thank everyone who's out there, who's supporting us, who's watching what we do. And this has been another episode of the Clint Initiative Podcast. You guys have a great rest of your week and a great Memorial Day. Or is it Labor Day or Memorial Day coming up?
Memorial Day. I believe
Have a
so.
great Memorial Day on Monday, and we will see you next Thursday.
Love you guys.
Hasta luego.
Adios.